Now, Good Morning Washington, on your side. We begin with a breaking news alert.
There's just this man that's pushing and shoving and pepper spray and screaming, and it was like a human tsunami.
We're following breaking news this morning. The D.C. curfew just now ending after another night of protest in the district turned chaotic. And dozens of protesters had to actually take refuge in a stranger's home all night long. And this is actually still happening on Swan Street in Northwest. And now the district's curfew is lifting. They're expected to start coming out any second. Let's go straight to Good Morning Washington's Kristen Powers live in Northwest with what's happening right now. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning. So you just heard some clapping behind me. Not sure what that is, but as we've been talking with the owner of this home, he says it's kind of become a family in there. We are talking with him again. Raul, I'm going to put him up here on video chat. Now, I do want to address, a lot of people out here worried because, as you said, there are a lot of minors within that home. That's why we are, talking with you here as a representative for them. But what's the mood right now? It's now 6 o'clock. Curfew has been lifted.
Yes, we're anticipating a caravan showing up sporadically starting at 6:15, so we're in anticipation of that. I'm going to lead some of this group out three at a time into cars that are going to be pulling up one at a time at a location close by. And so I'm having trouble right now meeting that. We're working about them moving out the front door. The police have been trying to bait us many times. I know they're not there right now, but, we're not through this yet. I want to make sure that all of these adults and children and 20-somethings that have been here the entire night are home and get home safely.
And of course, that's your main goal, is that people are getting out safely. I'm going to let you go because I do know that you're organizing different things. So thank you for speaking with me again. I appreciate it.
Hey, Kristen, thank you for covering this and ABC7. It's just been it's very important, and I hope that we're able to peacefully get these people home to their families. And Godspeed, everybody.
Yeah, peacefully is definitely the key word there. Thank you. So I do want to note, out here it is 6 o'clock. We aren't seeing any police. I know that was a fear. We saw police here earlier trying to talk with them about, ways to have them leave. But as you heard Raul saying, there is that fear of being arrested because these individuals, they were out here past curfew, and as many people around here have been noting, a lot of them are young. They say teenagers are in their 20s. So we're going to remain on the scene here to just let you know what happens as they do start to leave. But the goal, as it's been echoed all morning, is they're hoping that it is peaceful. Back to you.
Yeah, Kristen, and please stay safe. Thank you so much. And as you heard, that curfew in place in D.C. did very little to calm protesters down. People stayed out late, but it still wasn't at the level we saw Sunday night. Good Morning Washington's John Gonzalez is also live in Northwest with a look at damage there. Hey, John.
Robert, good morning. We are across the street from the White House, Lafayette Park, right behind me. And these masks are serving a dual purpose this morning. Of course, we've still got COVID-19, but the cleanup is underway, and there are street sweepers that are lifting up the sediment of all the pepper spray left behind on the roadway, creating a cloud of smoke, and it is really creating a tough time for folks to breathe around here. A lot of coughing, a lot of sneezing because of the pepper spray. There you have it. There's some of the street sweepers kicking up all of the sediment from the pepper spray from last night. And this is what Lafayette Park looks like at this hour. You can see the White House in the background. You've got Secret Service. They've got the area closed off while the cleanup continues. But you see all of the graffiti on the street signs there in front of the park, and you can see it's entirely fenced off right now. No public allowed inside the park today once again. And even some of the buildings next door, you have the historic Hay Adams. It is all boarded up, and we've been telling you this morning how a lot of this is preventative. Buildings, office space, people that knew that something was going to happen again last night, and they took preventative measures and they boarded things up. But in some cases, it didn't help. We know that some of the protesters, some of the looters were ripping the plywood off of these windows and doors and breaking the windows as well. So still a lot of cleanup out here. The curfew just lifted minutes ago, and just a tremendous amount of activity as folks continue to clean up around Lafayette Park and the White House. That's the latest from here. We'll send it back to you, Lindsay.
And I'm at the alert desk right now. We just got some new video in from outside of Circus in Las Vegas. That's where one officer, we're told, was shot. We're still waiting to find out that person's how they're doing. This was along Las Vegas Boulevard, but down Las Vegas Boulevard, there was another shooting. It's the same road there, but in the downtown Vegas area. In that case, it's an officer-involved shooting. They continue to follow this and other developments going on throughout the country right now. Back to you.
All right, our coverage continues. Elsewhere in the DMV, a peaceful march in solidarity in Gaithersburg calling for justice in George Floyd's death. Dozens, maybe hundreds in the crowd marched through town, blocking streets and traffic. At times, police were there managing the crowd and traffic.
And actually, protesters also took to the streets in Oxon Hill. A couple of hundred demonstrators gathered yesterday outside of Prince George's County Police Station to call attention to George Floyd's death. Chief Hank Stawinski was among the officers who joined that peaceful protest, and it was organized by a local chapter of Black Lives Matter. Now, Prince George's County has dealt with numerous incidents of police brutality over the years. In fact, just months ago, an officer was charged with murder after he was accused of shooting a handcuffed man to death.
In Gainesville, organizers of a march mandated everyone remain peaceful. It did, and police officers who joined the crowd were applauding many of the messages.
All right, guys,
Now, police in Richmond are actually apologizing to protesters for this, using tear gas. They say they did it to protect protesters because some were actually trying to pull down statues last night. Now, police say if the statues had come down, they would have crushed anyone standing nearby. Police also say some violent demonstrators cut them off, and the tear gas was necessary to allow officers to move to safety. Ashley.
There is an outpouring of support for Richmond business owners whose companies suffered massive damage during the weekend riots. One of those companies is Waller Jewelers, a family-owned business since 1900. Windows and display cases were smashed. Jewelry was stolen.
You see the smash that, but they broke the glass out of here.
We were hoping to open on tomorrow. I don't think we're going to be able to open tomorrow with what has happened here.
This is a black-owned business. It doesn't matter if it's black. This is a business that's been here for generations. These businesses that you guys are out here tearing up, we need these businesses.
Volunteers showed up to help clean up the damage and to protect at night if needed. If you'd like to help, a GoFundMe page has been set up to help the Waller family get through this.
And these protests have spread around the world. People in other countries are standing in solidarity with the Black Lives Matter movement. Peaceful protesters gathered near the U.S. Embassy in Paris yesterday. They took a knee, held signs while repeating, quote, "We are all George Floyd." And in Dublin, Ireland yesterday, hundreds of protesters marched peacefully in front of the U.S. Embassy, chanting George Floyd's name and demanding change.
Robert, the medical examiner's office in Hennepin County, Minnesota, has ruled George Floyd's death a homicide. And it says he died of cardiopulmonary arrest while being restrained by law enforcement, and that means his heart failed. The medical examiner says Floyd had signs of heart disease and had taken fentanyl and methamphetamine, but there's no mention of whether either drug contributed to his death. Experts hired by Floyd's family say he died of asphyxiation from sustained pressure. Updating breaking news now about protesters who took refuge inside a D.C. row house after being surrounded by police after curfew. They are just now starting to leave. We're going to go straight out to Good Morning Washington's Kristen Powers live along Swan Street in Northwest. Kristen, what are you seeing?
Ashley, hey, good morning. So these protesters who were inside since roughly 8:30 p.m., 9:30 p.m. are now starting to leave this man's home, a stranger's home originally, now that curfew is over. What we've seen is a lot of different cars lining up, a lot of people from the community coming out here as well to support. I will say right now there is no sight of police. I don't see police anywhere. We do see people walking out. As soon as they walked out, there was clapping, there was the chant, Black Lives Matter. And when we were talking to everyone inside, you know, they did describe that experience of police dispersing them last night after those protests and sort of corralling them into this area near 15th and Swan. But now, as you see, people are walking out and there doesn't seem to be any disruption. Everything so far so good as far as being pretty peaceful. And we were able to talk to people inside. I do want to see, I know a lot of these individuals. They said they were tired. They've been here a long time, so I don't want to just bombard them here. But let me just put out a call and see if anyone is interested in speaking, just to see. Hold on, I want to listen for a second. Okay, so they're now talking if anyone wants escorts when they're walking away in order to feel a little bit more safe. Were you inside of the home?
I was not.
You were not inside of the home, okay. So they're just organizing everything, and it seems like it's been a real team effort here. But I'm going to send it back to you. I'm going to see if I can, talk to any of these individuals, and I'm sure they feel quite relieved, the fact that they're able to just get out. And they're walking out very calmly. Everything is very peaceful, so that's always a great thing to see. I'm going to bring Ernie, actually. I'm going to tap our photographer. If you want to follow me over here, let's see if we can get on this way. You can see just how many people from the community are out here, as well as different cars, that a lot of these people getting picked up. So we're going to see here the people still asking if they could get a ride. Were any of you guys inside of the home?
Yes, we were.
You were? Would you mind speaking? I mean, how does it feel? This is what we wanted. You wanted peaceful, leaving peacefully. What's your name first?
Andre.
Andre, and I think I talked to you a little earlier. Yeah. You're out, curfew's over. What's the feeling?
Just relief. I think just feeling of safety. I think that's my parents calling me now. It was a frightening experience. I'm glad we all could do it together, but frankly, we were all scared. We know what was going to happen. And we were there from like 10:30 till now. So
yeah, and no police in sight here right now.
No, and we were still worried about that as we were coming out. So we're still a little cautious about that. But
all right, so you're getting out of here. If your parents are calling you, you might want to answer that.
Yes, I am, and I'm just so glad. I appreciate all the support, all the food you guys gave us. We really appreciate it. It's just even someone came and dropped off masks for us, because when you think about it, 70 kids, 70 adults, young adults in the house cannot be pretty good for a pandemic, but yeah, it was a cause, and we're happy we came out. So, but we did not expect this at all. It was just strange.
All right, well, get home safely.
Thank you. Appreciate
it. So of course you heard that. They're happy that this is peaceful. They're walking out right now. There are no cops in sight. A lot of them going home. And he had mentioned the food. They had ordered pizza twice. If you want to see kind of that experience, some of them sent me videos. ABC7 Kristen, I tweeted those out, and it just kind of shows the camaraderie that they kind of band together when they were inside for, as he said, hours. He was there since around 10. Some people had been there since around 8:30. So I'm going to send it back to you, but this is what they wanted. Of course, we always want it to be peaceful, and it does look like they were able to peacefully leave this home and go back to their own homes. And many of them also saying they're going to keep coming out and protesting because this is a cause that really matters to them. Back to you.
Yeah, Kristen, thank you. We'll be sure to check back in with you later. I'm sure they're all glad to get out, stretch their leg. They've been in there since 8 o'clock last night.
And Mayor Bowser, she wanted people off the street. They were off the street.
They were off the street, and we're glad to see they're out, and it's a safe situation so far. All right, your time now 6:12. Let's get a check-in on the forecast for the rest of the week. Stormwatch 7 meteorologist Veronica Johnson is tracking clouds. So will it rain today as people head to the polls?
About that much, Robert. That is just a little bit in the way of some rain, some light showers, sprinkles for today. Going up to 80 degrees, though. Check out the forecast, because tomorrow, up some 15 degrees across the area. Our first 90-degree day, our first real summer sizzle. But we're on weather alert for the heat, but also some severe thunderstorms. I'll have the timing of those storms coming up very shortly when Good Morning Washington returns right after this short break.
Now, Good Morning Washington, on your side. We begin with a breaking news alert.
And I kept on holding onto the railing and yelling, "Get inside!" And they're pepper spraying, and everyone's coughing, and I'm coughing, and people are like falling on the steps.
Dramatic moments Moments overnight when protesters take shelter in a stranger's home all night, setting up a standoff with police. It ended just moments ago, and we are tracking the very latest with team coverage on this and protests happening around the country.
Yeah, we'll also take a live look over the district where it is primary day. That's easy to forget, but you have to remember, people in Maryland will also be casting ballots. 7 is on your side with what you need to know before heading out to the polls. Good morning to you, Washington at 6:30. I'm Robert Burt.
And I'm Ashley Rodriguez. And even though voters are being encouraged to vote by mail in those primaries, some polling places are open. Stormwatch 7 meteorologist Veronica Johnson tracking the forecast for us. Good morning, Veronica.
Good morning there, Ashley. Robert, yeah, light jacket this morning when you're heading out, but temperatures are going to warm pretty nicely, so you're probably going to lose that jacket by noon, 1 o'clock. The other thing you're going to notice, look at that 9 o'clock hour. It's a dark cloud, and it's around mid to late morning when we could have a passing light shower. That really is it. So if you're looking for the drier time today and the time period when we could have a little more sunshine, that will be during your afternoon hours today when we head into the upper 70s to around 80 degrees. I've got major changes coming our way tomorrow. We're now on weather alert. It's a weather alert Wednesday. We'll have not only some high heat and humidity for the day, but also the chance for some strong, if not severe, thunderstorms, most of which will be late afternoon and evening. With those storms tomorrow, could bring some downpours, maybe even some flooding and some high winds. I'll have the timing of those storms coming up in a few minutes. Right now, we'll head over to Angela Foster.
Veronica, 2 heavy areas of congestion around the region. Interstate 66, the overnight construction zone that never cleared westbound. 2 lanes remain blocked as you approach Nutley Street, and here's a live look at the scene. Leaving the Capitol Beltway, traveling westbound on 66, you've got that overnight construction zone lingering into the morning hours and causing a major backup. Our other area of congestion, not US 50 where you see the cameras, but that's going to be your alternate route. Instead of the Baltimore-Washington Parkway, dealing with crashes north and southbound. That's your latest look at Traffic Watch. Back to you.
We've been tracking breaking news all morning long. Protesters stuck in a stranger's home after police unleashed pepper spray in D.C. last night. In the last half hour, they've slowly been starting to leave now that the curfew in D.C. is over. Good morning, Washington's Kristen Powers is live in Northwest tracking the situation for us. Kristen, what's happening now?
Ashley, good morning. So it was a peaceful resolution. Protesters were able to leave this house on Swan Street in the Northwest. No police were around. Now what they're doing is either walking together or getting rides from supporters who came out here after hearing what was going on and making sure they wanted to make sure these protesters got home safely. We're going to walk on over here. We're going to talk with Taylor. She is one of the individuals who was inside. Taylor, I'm going to grab you on over here. You were inside of the home. The first thing I noticed, a very young crowd, young adults, late teens, it seems like. First, what was it like being inside of that home? I know you guys had some pizza, but it was tense moments as well.
Yeah, at first, in like the first couple of hours, I was scared, just like anybody else. You know, I don't know what's going on outside. I'm inside. I got people can't breathe. I got people on the ground, people doing this, people doing that. So the first couple of hours, I was worried for my safety as well as everybody else's safety. But then, like I said, when we got into it, you know, I'm talking to people, making friends. We trying to make the best of a situation because it's messed up what we in, but at the same time, we got to do what we can with it. You know, like we're here. This is our situation. How are we going to get out of this? How are we going to move forward from this? How are we going to unify together so we could get through this together? So that's what my mind was on, getting through it and making sure everybody else was okay so we could get through this together, basically.
I'm glad you and everyone appears to be safe. Walk me through the moments that led you to coming to this home, which you didn't know the owner at all before today.
No, I mean, we were all right here on this street, Swan Street right here, and we all got boxed in by the police, all 4 corners. There was nowhere to run, nowhere to go, and honestly, to be honest with you, I felt like I was going to die in that moment. Like, you have people getting beat, you have people getting pepper sprayed, maced everywhere. Everywhere you turn, somebody's on the ground getting hurt. Everybody's just running. So I ran to the first thing I saw. I saw Raul. He was outside fanning people into his house, so I just ran. I was in fight or flight mode. Either I'm going to be here or I could stay out there and get hurt. So I just went where I saw everybody else was going, and that's what I had to do. It was an in-the-moment thing. I couldn't really have time to think about it because I'm trying to stay alive.
And this happened as curfew was in place. What were protesters doing at the moment when police decided to start dispersing them? Was it peaceful at the time?
Exactly what we came to do, peacefully protest. That's exactly what we were doing. No violence, no nothing. We were out here doing what we came to do, peacefully trying to make our point, prove our purpose. Everybody was here doing our chants, talking to each other. That's all we were doing, standing here.
Walking out of here at 6, a little after 6, of course, you said you were a little nervous walking out, but when you came out here and you saw there was no resistance, what were your thoughts?
Relief, of course. Relief, 100% relief. It's over. I'm out of here. Most importantly, I'm out of here alive. Most importantly, I'm out of here alive. Like, I have a family at home. My family is worried about me. I have people that care about me. I'm just glad to be out here. I'm glad that I don't have to keep continuously. I can have a few seconds of relief that I don't have to worry about somebody trying to pepper spray me, somebody trying to mace me, somebody trying to keep me from just going home to my family. That's all.
And Taylor, will you continue to protest?
Of
and
course.
Why?
Of course, because at the end of the day, all these people standing right here, even if I don't know these people, these are my brothers, these are my sisters. I'm fighting for these people. At the end of the day, above everything, above female, whatever, I'm black. I'm African American at the end of the day, so I'm going to keep fighting for my African Americans, and that's it.
Well, I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad all of you are safe as well, and quite an experience inside of that home, an unexpected one. So thank you for taking the time to talk with us and get home safely. Definitely. So, I mean, you heard them talk about that just experience being inside the home, not really knowing what was going to happen at 6 a.m., but of course, very happy that it was a peaceful resolution here. We do see Raul, the owner, he is outside right now. He is talking to a few other people, but we were able to meet, as you know, if you've been following us all morning, from video chat, but we have not been able to see each other in person yet. So we will check back in and try to, talk with him very shortly. But a lot of people happy here that they're able to get out of the home safely and get home. But we'll check back in with you soon.
Kristen, and I wanted to give viewers a sense of what's going on here at Lafayette Park, right across the street from the White House. There is a strong odor of pepper spray. We can start there. The mask serving a dual purpose. You've got street sweepers that have been going around cleaning, and they are kicking up a dust cloud of the sediment of the pepper spray left behind. You see Secret Service here on the corner of 16th and H. They have everything blocked off. There's actually a few protesters here this morning. That gentleman there with the bicycle hat on, the helmet, he has been yelling, "I can't breathe," facing the White House deliberately while the cleanup here continues. You can see all of the street signs are graffitied, have been tagged, and right over here you have a lot of cleanup. And we want to show you, these are restrooms over at Lafayette Park, and that gives you a sense. We apologize for any of the graffiti that might be vulgar, but that gives you a sense of some of the destruction here around the White House. The entire building has been tagged, and you see the cleanup there continues. Now, earlier, just moments ago, in fact, famed chef and founder of World Central Kitchen, Jose Andres, came up to the corner here. He had his mask on, didn't cause too much attention because of the fact that he had his mask on. We did quickly recognize him, and I asked him if he wanted to talk on camera. He said he wasn't here for any on-camera interviews, but I asked him what brought him out here this morning, and he simply said, "I wanted to survey the damage. It is my city," is what he told me. But again, Lafayette Park, heavy cleanup underway. The entire park closed off to the public yet again today after another night of protest. And of course, this is right next to St. John's. As I toss it back to you, this is the location that, of course, caused so much attention yesterday when the president walked over and held that Bible in front of this historic church. And this has been ground zero each night during these protests. That's the latest from Northwest Washington. John Gonzalez. Good morning, Washington.
Yeah, John, another night of protests and another night of violence. And now Australia's Prime Minister is calling for an investigation after an Australian reporter and cameraman were assaulted during U.S. protests. It was all caught on camera. Maybe you've seen it. Amelia Brace and her cameraman, Tim Myers, were broadcasting live from the demonstrations near the White House when it happened. Brace says she was clubbed with a police baton, and you could see Myers when he was hit in the chest by a shield.
They chased us down that street, and as you see, they were firing these rubber bullets at everyone. There is tear gas, and now we are really surrounded by the police, and you really saw the way that they dealt with my cameraman, Tim.
Now, Brace says she and Myers had yelled that they were media, but she says police didn't care, Robert.
Tough to watch. And Ashley, there is controversy this morning about President Trump's appearance just outside St. John's Episcopal Church. In fact, that's where John Gonzalez was located, as you saw moments ago. It's right near the White House. And police fired tear gas and rubber bullets at peaceful protesters yesterday evening before the district's curfew even took effect and before the president arrived. Now, President Trump walked to get to the church, and it's just across from Lafayette Park from the White House, and he was joined by several people, including his son-in-law and advisor, Jared Kushner, and Attorney General William Barr. Now, once he arrived at St. John's, President Trump stood with a Bible in his hand and posed for photos. The church that's welcomed several presidents over the years was vandalized and partially burned in a protest on Sunday. Now, earlier yesterday, President Trump issued a statement at the White House.
If a city or state refuses to take the actions that are necessary to defend the life and property of their residents, then I will deploy the United States military and quickly solve the problem for them.
Now, the head of the Episcopal Diocese of Washington is slamming the president for his appearance outside the church.
The president just used a Bible, the most sacred text of the Judeo-Christian tradition, and one of the churches of my diocese, without permission, as a backdrop for a message antithetical to the teachings of Jesus and everything that our churches stand for. And to do so, as you just said, he sanctioned the use of tear gas by police officers in riot gear to clear the church yard. I am outraged.
Now, the national head of the Episcopal Church agrees. Presiding Bishop Michael Curry tweeted, quote, "This evening, the President of the United States stood in front of St. John's Episcopal Church, lifted up a Bible, and had pictures of himself taken. In so doing, he used the church building and the Holy Bible for partisan political purposes." Meantime, Arlington County leaders are pulling officers out of D.C. over all of this. Okay, County Board Chair Libby Garvey tweeted, quote, "We ordered Arlington police to immediately leave D.C. We're appalled that mutual aid agreement abused to endanger their and others' safety for a photo op." Now, the photo op she's referring to is a reference to the scene outside of St. John's. Ashley?
All right, there's a lot of developments. It is 6:41 right now, 41 minutes past the end of the curfew, and we're going to go back out to Northwest D.C., continuing with our breaking news we've been bringing you since 5 this morning, where protesters just left a home after being stuck all night. We'll have a live report next.
And welcome back. Looking live with our Storm Watch 7 network of live camera. This is 54 degrees in Chantilly, 59 in D.C., but overcast everywhere. In fact, we're tracking those showers right now around Winchester, Hagerstown, and south toward Luray. That's where most of the rain is right now, but expect to see these showers kind of on and off through your morning hours up until lunchtime. So overcast the start for your day. A little bit of sunshine later as we get up to 80 degrees around 1, 2 o'clock. Upper 70s for your evening. The evening is looking mainly dry, but weather alert day for tomorrow as we possibly look at some strong, if not severe storms moving through from 3 p.m. until about 8 to 9 p.m. tomorrow. And a hot one, too, Ashley, up to 94 degrees.
All right, unlike the weather on Wednesday, our viewers continue to make us smile. And check out this video Lucky Reyes sent in.
Hi, everyone, because go out, no need to be afraid. Because after coronavirus, wash hands, soap, and mask.
So if you got all that, that was some instructions to stay safe.
Yes, it was.
And Sean Farragher from Arlington says Patty the kitten strolled into his sister's life right after their grandma passed away, and they knew they had to keep her. Thank you for sending us these sweet videos and sharing your positivity with us. We could really use it these days. Please continue to do so by clicking on Chime In the free ABC 7 app.
And of course, remember, Kristen Powers will have an update at the top of the 7 o'clock hour on our sister station, WJLA 24/7 News. Good Morning America is next. We leave you with what they're working on for the next 2 hours.
Have a great day.